guys, Allison here, and I am going to share my packing list for Paris today. So some things that I always take into consideration when packing is first, obviously, weather. Weather is super important when you're packing. I have actually gone on trips where I thought it was going to be warmer than it was and was scrambling to find things to cover up, and not a fun experience. I normally check the weather maybe like a week out, and then as it gets closer to when we're gonna leave, like just a day or two before, I'll check it again just to make sure what I was kind of planning out still works for our trip. The next thing is obviously you want to take into consideration how long you're gonna be there. Now, if you are getting really strategic with your packing, and you can take like 5 items and make a combination of outfits that last you a week, like that's amazing. Something that kind of helps you is I've done some exercises where you take 10 items and make 10 outfits with those 10 items. It's a great packing exercise, so you can really minimize your packing so you're not just having like this overloaded suitcase that's overweight and just a huge hassle, and then you end up not wearing most of the stuff you packed. Doing some of those exercises and trying on your stuff before you pack is also like super helpful, so you can kind of cut down on what you are packing. But take days into consideration, obviously, but if you become like a super expert packer, then you might not need a ton of outfits for all of those days. Something else to take into consideration is obviously the terrain. If that sounds weird, but if you're going somewhere where it's like we went to Greece, places could be kind of dusty and sandy, and just like a little bit like more quote-unquote rugged than somewhere like a city like Zurich or Paris. So clearly things like that you need to take into consideration. For Paris specifically, they have a lot of cobble streets, which are beautiful and make Paris wonderfully charming, but wearing stilettos every day might not be the best choice because of those streets and because there's a lot of walking. So just some extra things to kind of take into consideration when you are packing. For all those questions, I knew for Paris, the weather was gonna be around like 40 degrees Fahrenheit, get up to maybe like mid 50s. So I definitely wanted a lot of things that I could kind of layer, take off different layers, just because the temperatures would vary fairly greatly. And some days might be sunny while others might be a little bit drizzly. So definitely kind of a combination of different things that I could mix and match and layer. For our stay, we stayed actually in Paris for 5 full days, and we had 2 travel days. So I knew that I didn't need a ton of stuff. As you can see here, this is everything I packed. Not a lot, 2 of them are coats. So I'll get through all the different items, but yeah, I didn't need a ton of stuff because I know my closet fairly well, and I know what pieces I can mix and match and make multiple outfits with using just like the same 3 things. Also terrain, like I said, the cobblestones, so I wanted very practical footwear. So I brought 1 pair of Chelsea boots and then 1 ankle boots with like a little bit of a black heel, just for something a little bit dressier at night. But I will get into all the things right now. First, I brought obviously sweaters. So I had 2 cardigans that I kind of like layered over different things, combinations, bulkier up, like if it was really cold, have like a sweater, and then I had cardigan over it, and then I had, most of the times I wore my sweater coat, which I absolutely love this thing. It's from Madewell, shocker, but I love it because it is so long and it's just a big sweater, but it's great for walking around because even though it is open and it doesn't close, you can layer underneath it, and actually having that openness gives a little bit of a breeze. So when you're walking a lot, like for Paris, we walked like 6 to 7 miles every day, and I get kind of hot when I walk, so having a coat that's already kind of open was really nice to kind of keep air moving through. And like I said, you can just layer it with like another cardigan and then have a sweater underneath that. So if it got really cold and windy, like you had enough layers to kind of fill in that gap. But also how I kind of worked with that is like wearing a chunky sweater kind of helped, and then I would wear a crossbody bag over, and that would kind of also help keep it closed, which was really great. So I highly recommend a sweater coat. This coat I really just wore in London, because I realized I needed a heavier coat because it was going to be a lot colder. So this is just my cocoon coat from J. Crew that I've had for a long time, and there's a little bit of fuzz on it. But I only really wore this in London, which is kind of sad because I probably didn't need to bring it, but I could have maybe just done a little more layering with the sweater coat. But I had it just in case, and it was nice for London because it was very windy and pretty overcast there, so it was a bit chillier. Like I said, I had cardigans, great for layering, sweater cardigans. I did bring kind of two dressier items, so this is like my go-to dressy outfit. If I'm gonna go to dinner, I always, like, this is one of the first things I kind of gravitate to is a black turtleneck sweater. It's just classic, it's simple, and obviously black feels automatically a little bit dressier. So this is one thing I brought. And then I also brought this top from one of my obsessions, if you've been following along, Elizabeth Susan. So she had a wonderful, beautiful little sample sale online, which she hasn't done before. And this was a piece in it. It's wool. It's like a little crop top, which seems a little strange in winter, but it's a great layering item with like my turtleneck. So I would wear this underneath this, and I could dress it up or down with jewelry, and it's just a really great little piece, and it's all made sustainably in Nashville by her team, which is absolutely wonderful. So if you haven't already, go check her out. But then I just had mostly, like, besides my sweaters, just layering items like this striped turtleneck, which has been one of my like most worn things this whole entire season. And then I had a chambray shirt, which is another kind of like always go-to. It's easy, it's really easy to work with, it's easy to layer underneath multiple things, and it kind of brought a little bit of a brighter color because most of my wardrobe is black and cream, besides this top, but this adds just a little bit more brightness to my overall looks. And then I just had, this was actually part of my flight, but I wore BN shirt. I know, a little cheesy, but I thought it was cute, and I like graphic tees a lot, so I thought this would just a little fun, and it was really comfy for the plane, but I did wear it a little bit out while we were in Paris. My last things, I only brought two pairs of pants. Woo! Both of them had shredded hems, which I didn't really totally plan, but I love these. I love both of these pairs of jeans. So this first is just a high-rise dark gray wash with that raw hem. These are super, super comfy. I got them secondhand. They're also made well, but I got them for way, way cheaper on Poshmark actually. And they're a high rise, so with like the crop top, and I love that tucked in look with high rise jeans. So these were worn probably the most regularly during our trip. And then I also brought this pair, which was kind of my dressier pair for when we would go to dinner and like the Louvre and like a little bit nicer places. Wide leg pants. I love the wide leg. Wide legs are my favorite silhouette right now, besides just skinny jeans. I've been wearing skinny jeans forever, and it's nice to branch out to something that's a little bit different silhouette. But these also have the high rise hem, and I just really, really love the silhouette, and they were great for a little bit dressier nights out and such. And then finally, shoes. I talk about these shoes all the time. I talk about Everlane all the time, but that's because I absolutely love them. But these shoes were my main walking shoe. They were unbelievably comfortable, like put some miles on these guys. And they were super great for walking around. I went up half a size just in case you are interested in getting these. In all of Everlane shoes, I usually go up half a size. But Chelsea boot was great for walking around in winter. And then these were my dressier option, just a little ankle boot with a block heel. I figured this could be a dressier option, but I could still navigate the streets. I am not great in walking in like 4-inch heels and then throwing in kind of uneven ground. Not a good situation for me. So these were a really great option for a little bit of a dressier shoe out. So that's my main clothes, and then I just brought one bag. I brought this little just like crossbody bag. This was my main bag the whole entire time, and then I had my tote bag, which was my carry-on. But I pretty much wore this every day, and then I ended up getting a bag from my lovely hubby. And so those were my two bags. pretty much the whole time. But yeah, that was my packing list. If you guys are interested in some of the outfits I made, check out my blog. I have flat lays of all the different outfits I wore each day. But yeah, that's basically what I packed, and now I will show you guys some tips on actually how to pack your suitcase. Okay, so first tip in packing, I usually always start with my shoes first. So I wore my Chelsea boots, so the only shoes I needed to pack were the ankle boots. I normally use, so Everlane gives you like a little shoe bag, because I bought multiple shoes from there. I have 2 shoe bags. So I usually always put my shoes in a bag just because you're walking around, you get stuff on your shoes, and having those like with my clothes, it just like it creeps me out a little bit. So I wrap up each shoe in a bag, and then I will put them, I like to keep them separate because I feel like it gives me a little bit more options when packing if I need to move things around than having both shoes in one bag, so you're kind of stuck with this big bulk. So I like to put them in 2 separate bags, and then just place them always at the bottom of your suitcase, so where the wheels are, because they're normally your heavier option, unless you have like sandals or flats or something, but boots, they're a little bit heavier, so I like them at the bottom so they don't squish everything else that I pack. So next I actually will pack my pants, just normal folds in here. I wore some like stretchy pants. Oh, things that I did not show here for my packing list were just like, I had a pair of stretchy pants that were mostly pajamas and a top that was also my pajamas, so I left those 2 things out. But I put in my pants in the bottom, and then I will pack sweaters. Sometimes winter packing can be really, really difficult because things are so bulky. So if you can on your flight, wear your bulkiest items, and that will just also help you save room, but that will depend on what you're doing after your flight, how long your flight is and whatnot. But if you can, always try to wear your bulkiest items. I have this sweater. This one I wore in London, so those are my London wear, which will stay aside. But I usually pack like my nicer things kind of in the middle, not on the very bottom, just because of the weight and if the bottom's messed up at all, so it doesn't like scratch them. But I'll usually pack them in the middle just so that they're kind of like padded in there. We should like go somewhere since I'm packing everything already now.
Guess we just have to go back to Paris.
Yeah. Round 2. I really actually probably could have fit all of my clothes in a carry-on, but the other side of the suitcase was for River, and it was easier for us to just have one bag that had both of our stuff. But I really probably could have fit all of my things in a carry-on, which is super cool. There, so I have all of the clothes packed. This is my toiletry bag. I always save room at the top for this, just in case you have perfume or any breakable bottles. Anything that's breakable, I always put at the top. So for my clutch purse, what I actually like to do is use this and fill it with socks and underwear. So I have some socks here. I will just roll these guys up into like little rolls so that they're nice and compact, and then I will actually use them to pad my purse so that it keeps its shape, it doesn't get super squished. I will also put some of my jewelry in here, so I will have like little bags of jewelry, and I will also just like little like bags like the jewelry comes in, and I will put like earrings and necklaces and things in there, and then I will also stick those so that they're padded and nice with the socks in my little crossbody bag. Like I said, it really helps keep its shape so it doesn't get completely squished in your bag, and you can do that with any clutches or anything that's going to be like an extra bag that you pack. Let's see, I just have like 4 socks in there. I could have fit more, but then it's nice so it doesn't get completely collapsed and squished. But I also keep this towards the top of my bag just because it's really nice and I like it to keep its shape. For bras, yes, I will show bras really fast. So for my bras, I usually just put cup into the other. And I like to put my bras in the corners of the suitcase because it also kind of like protects its shape. And if I have any remaining socks or underwear, I will use that to like pad inside the cup to make sure they also have their shape. But yeah, so toiletries, jewelry, breakables, bras and things are at the top of the suitcase, and then shoes are at the bottom where the wheels are. So that's pretty much all that I packed, minus like hairbrush and just basically my hairbrush actually. But yeah, so that's some tips for packing. What I packed for Paris. So if you're going on a winter trip to Paris, let me know, or if you want some other tips for how to dress for Paris, any of like Paris style, if you want to make sure you kind of fit in, or anything like that, leave comments in the comments section below. I'm happy to help. If you liked this video, let me know and I will do another packing video, since we are going to Florida and stuff soon. So please leave those comments in the description below. I will also have a link to my blog where I went through all of my packing list and where it has some of the outfits that I actually wore planned out there. And yeah, if you guys like this, hit subscribe as well, and the like button, and we will see you in another video tomorrow. Bye!